Swami Vivekananda once told, "Never say no, never say I cannot, for you are infinite, all the power is within you, you can do anything." Good morning everyone and welcome to the seventh part of chapter number 3, Laws of Motion. Today let us study Newton's universal law of gravitation. Every particle of the universe attracts other particles. The force of attraction between the two particles because of their masses is called as the gravitational force of attraction. We know this by our daily experience that if we drop a pen or pencil, it will fall on the ground. Because Earth attracts this pen or pencil towards itself. We call this force of attraction as gravitational force. Listen, I told in the beginning, every particle of the universe attracts other particles. Then, why does this pen or pencil did not attract the Earth? Any idea? Obviously they too attract the Earth. But did Earth move? No, it did not. We have already studied Newton's second law. F is equal to ma and A is equal to F divided by m. So, acceleration is inversely proportional to mass. More the mass, less is the acceleration, and less is the mass, more is the acceleration. And we know mass of Earth is much higher than the mass of pen or pencil. So, less is the mass, more it will accelerate and move towards the bigger body. Now I hope that you are sitting in front of a computer. Are you being attracted by the computer? Or is there any force of attraction between you and the computer? There is not. But why? The reason is every body that is on earth is much smaller than the heavenly bodies like sun, moon, earth, etc. We should take into consideration other objects around us too, like table, chair, table lamp, and even the earth. Every body has this force of attraction, and force of attraction due to earth is much greater than the rest of the bodies. So we can say that even though every matter on earth has their own force to attract other bodies, their force is very less comparing to the force of earth. So, the force of attraction, that is attraction between smaller bodies, are negligible. Now, how much is the magnitude of this force? To find it out, Sir Isaac Newton gave a law known as universal law of gravitation. Let us take two bodies, m1 and m2. Let us keep them at a distance r. Please note, this distance must be from the center of first body to the center of second body. That means distance must be a line joining the centers of both the bodies. Body m1 is attracted by body m2 with a force F12. F12 means force on first body with respect to second body. And obviously body m2 is attracted by body m1 with a force F21. And F21 is the force on second body with respect to first body. So according to Isaac Newton, force of attraction between two bodies is directly proportional to the product of their masses. That means F is directly proportional to m1 into m2. Let us write this as equation number 1. And also, force of attraction between two bodies are inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. That means F is proportional to 1 divided by r square. Let us write this as equation number 2. Comparing this equation number 1 and equation number 2, we get F is proportional to m1 m2 divided by r square. Please note, always to change a proportionality sign to an equal to sign, we have to use a constant. That constant is called as constant of proportionality. To change proportionality sign in this formula, that is F is proportional to m1 m2 divided by r square, we use a constant capital G. So capital G is equal to constant of proportionality. So the formula becomes F is equal to capital G m1 m2 divided by r square. Please do remember, the value of capital G remains constant or same at all places, and it is independent of the nature of medium or the nature of particles or the temperature, etc. So this constant of proportionality G is also called as universal gravitational constant. Very important. Why capital G is called as universal gravitational constant? Because the value of capital G remains constant or same at all places, and it is independent of nature of medium, nature of particles and temperature, etc. Students, please don't get confused with the small letter g, that is gravitational force, and capital letter G, that is gravitational constant. Both are different and the value of both of them are different. We know value of small g, that is gravitational force, is 9.8 Newton. And magnitude of capital G is, please do remember, whenever I say magnitude, it is numerical value. So numerical value or magnitude of capital G is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 11. And what is the unit of capital G? We know the formula. F is equal to capital G m1 m2 divided by r square. Changing the subject of formula, capital G is equal to F r square divided by m1 m2. And we know unit of force is Newton, unit of distance r is equal to meter, unit of mass is kilogram. So unit of capital G is equal to Newton meter square per kilogram square. Therefore, value of universal constant capital G is equal to 6.67 multiplied by 10 raised to power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. This value is very important. Force is a vector quantity. Vector means it has both magnitude and direction. So it is necessary to show its direction too. We can see in the diagram that F12 on mass M1 is towards mass M2 and F21 on mass M2 is towards M1 along the same line. We have already studied Newton's third law. Every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So both these forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So F12 is equal to minus F21. Here negative sign indicates opposite direction. And the arrow mark which is there in the top of F12 and F21 shows that it is a vector quantity. Now how to write the definition of universal constant capital G or gravitational constant? We know capital G is equal to F r square divided by M1 into M2. If distance r is equal to 1 meter, M1 is equal to 1 kilogram and M2 is equal to 1 kilogram, we get capital G is equal to F into 1 divided by 1. That is, capital G is equal to capital F. Gravitational constant G is equal to force of attraction between two masses, each of mass 1 kilogram, and when both are placed at a distance of 1 meter. So the definition of gravitational constant is gravitational constant capital G is numerically equal to the magnitude of force of attraction between two masses, each of 1 kilogram, placed at a distance of 1 meter. So if we find force of two bodies of mass 1 kilogram kept at a distance of 1 meter, F is equal to capital G M1 M2 divided by R square, and F is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 11 into 1 divided by 1, which is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 11 Newton. You can see the value is 10 raised to power minus 11. That is very small. And if we compare force of attraction between moon and the earth, mass of moon is 7.36 into 10 raised to power 22 kg. Mass of earth is 5.96 into 10 raised to power 24 kg. And distance between moon and the earth is 3.80 into 10 raised to power 8 meter. So F is equal to capital G M1 M2 divided by R square. Substituting all the values, 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 11 multiplied by 7.36 into 10 raised to power 22 multiplied by 5.96 into 10 raised to power 24 divided by 3.80 into 10 raised to power 8 the whole square. After calculation, we get the value as F is equal to 2 into 10 raised to power 20 Newton. So we get a bigger value when we compare two big masses. So we can conclude that gravitational force of attraction is significant between the heavenly bodies, but insignificant between the ordinary bodies. And that is why if you and your friend is standing nearby, you are not attracted by your friend. Who is blocking this force of attraction? Obviously the bigger mass, and that is the earth. So let us revise all the main points. Gravitational force of attraction between two masses is number 1, always attractive. Number 2, directly proportional to the product of the masses. Number 3, inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. So on doubling the separation between two masses, the force of attraction between them is reduced to 1/4. Number 4, the force is significant between heavenly bodies, but is insignificant between ordinary bodies because of small magnitude of capital G. Number 5, this law helps us to understand the motion of planets around the sun. All of you please think about this point. So that is the end of today's class. Be thankful for what you have. You will end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never ever have enough. With this thought, let me conclude. Thank you, have a great day, and may God bless you all.